Hey, what's going on guys? John here, and today I'm going to do a video review for the Kenwood receiver. This is the DMX706S. I'm going to walk through in this video. I'll actually walk you through the head unit, some of the functionalities of it. I'll show you a little demo. We're going to play some music so you can listen and kind of get a feel for it yourself. And then I'll talk about my overall thoughts and overall why I decided to get this and some of the things I really like about it. So let's first go through some of the menu options. We'll kind of walk through some of its functions. But by default here you have across the bottom all these various options. You basically have your volume control here on the left, up or down. There's a home button menu. This is basically for the antenna, I believe. And then you have your apps as well as your camera. I opted not to do the camera on this because in our Forester here, our Subaru Forester, we already had the built-in backup cam up here. While it would have been bigger down here, it was just a little bit of an extra hassle to do that. We did install the Bluetooth microphone up here, so it's basically just right in the center. So if you're sitting here talking, you're on the phone using Bluetooth, this is going to pick up the microphone. So it works pretty well there. We also ran another cord down here in the bottom, so this is basically for like Android Auto or CarPlay, depending on which type of phone you have. In my case, I have an Android, so we'd be using CarPlay. Going to the home menu, we basically have here, you can choose between Bluetooth, radio, and then your telephone, and then you also have just like any default apps or settings. So we can go between, like by default here, it has Sirius XM, Spotify, Pandora. You can connect an iPod, a USB stick, you can do an AV in. There's audio settings, standby, and then you have various other settings here that you can get, like vehicle info, things like that, if you decide to connect that. So overall, I'm mostly using this for music and radio, as well as making phone calls, so I'm not doing anything particularly crazy with this, but I do really like the interface. Everything's very clear, the text is really large, and it's easy to read. Another thing I really liked about this model, and one of the reasons I picked it, was my wife always gets in the car and she wants to use her phone to play Spotify, and then I'll be in the car and I want to use mine. And this has a really good Bluetooth setup for all of this. This may play, so I may pause this here. But basically, if you go to the settings for Bluetooth, this has all the settings here for connectivity, but you can also go in and actually add up to 2 devices. So if my wife gets in the car, all we have to do is click on her phone and then basically just check a couple boxes, hit OK, and then it's going to connect immediately. It's very simple and it's easy to kind of switch in between. If we go back to home, I'll do a little demo of the telephone options, and here you can see we have a list of contacts. I can come in and basically browse all the people that I have in my contact list. I can set favorites, and then I can also manually dial a number, as well as any settings here that pertain to that. There's also, if you add another phone, you can switch between either phone up here if they're both connected, and it's easy enough to just switch between. So if my wife wanted to make a call to one of her contacts, she could simply click this and then go and make that call. So overall, it works really, really well. The radio, again, pretty simple. If I click this, you can switch between all the FM stations here. It gives us information in the center, what station we're on, format, AM, FM, all that. We'll go back to the home menu, and I'll actually switch this to Bluetooth and we'll do a little demo. And before I play this, I have my phone here connected, and currently I'm not connecting with CarPlay. So before we play music, I did want to note that this car actually came with the premium audio. We had Harman Kardon speakers already here. There's extra speakers up here as well, which probably isn't standard in most cars. So this is really a higher end stereo system. Now, we had the original default head unit in here, and honestly, there's no subwoofer or anything like that, no amplifier built in. But with these head units, you're going to get a little bit more of an amplification over like a stock unit. And I definitely noticed with this one, it sounds really, really good. I'll actually shut the door, and I love metal, so that's what we're gonna play. I'm gonna basically play this. We'll crank it up a little bit, and you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like with a more premium sound system, without even necessarily, potentially in your case, upgrading your existing speakers. So I'll turn it up on my phone first. I usually control the sound here first, and then we can go up on the head unit. All right, so I paused it, but this sounds really amazing. It gives off like some really good mids, and the bass really comes through on these speakers. Again, I'm obviously using a higher quality speaker setup here. Another thing that you can do with this, and I wanted to show this, is you can come in here and actually play with a lot of the audio settings. So they have speaker settings here. We'll kind of go through. You can set both the front speakers and the rear speakers. There's tweeter settings as well. You can set the speaker sizes. So we did 6.5. I had the EQ level right now set where I basically have this set to a preset rock setting. So you have like a pre-select. You can come in here and you can do pops, easy, top 40, jazz. You know, there's a bunch of them. You can create your own. So I just have it set on rock. You can do positioning on the speakers as well, like where to focus more of the sound. Have some settings there. This also has some balance and fader settings. So if you want to mess with that, you have a little dial here for that. You've also got volume offset. So here you could do like different volumes based on certain sources of audio. And then you've got some zone control settings as well. So really cool, like it really goes into everything quite in depth. You have some sound effects here, so you can do up to 3 settings of bass boost. There's a supreme setting. They have a realizer. I couldn't really notice a much difference with that. A space enhancer, a drive equalizer, and then you even got some stage IQ settings. There's also audio memory, so you can do different things if you want to set up like certain specific settings or templates. So there's a lot of different settings in here, and that's one of the things I really loved about this. But yeah, overall, I'll usually just connect it via Bluetooth. That way I don't have to connect a cord. If you're really looking for that wireless like CarPlay, Android Auto, this does not provide that. But overall, I really don't think it matters that much, especially if you're just going to be like listening to music. If you're looking for maps, obviously that will be something you definitely want to utilize. And it's as simple as just getting a cord, running it through and doing it that way. You can add the backup cam to this again, but we just decided to keep the stock one up there. And overall, I'm very happy with this, how this turned out. So anyway, hopefully you found this video review helpful and wanted to go through, show you all the options and kind of give you an idea of what to expect with this particular head unit. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll talk to you later.